What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD Mobile video. So the VMP has officially made its way into the game and is now grindable. So today I want to discuss at least my initial thoughts on the weapon, as well as I guess my thoughts on the difficulty of grinding this said weapon. As I do every season, discussing the camo challenges is also something that does need to be discussed because, the difficulty of camo challenges could vary depending on what type of weapon you're using. There could be an SMG out there that is really good with hipfire, such as the VMP, but then there could be another SMG out there that's just completely terrible and just makes the hipfire challenges such a nightmare. So again, the difficulties of grinding out certain weapons can vary depending on those types of weapons. But for the VMP, it's a bit of a different story because I did make a video previously saying that the VMP has the potential, well, this was before we learned the stats of the weapon, that the VMP was actually had the potential to kind of ruin Call of Duty Mobile's balance. I know the USS 9 still kind of reigns supreme right now, at least for now until they nerf it again or something like that, but the VMP is not actually far behind. If anything, the VMP could actually outgun the USS 9 pretty well, especially if you're in a close range map like Shipment. There were many times throughout the entire grind where I went against multiple users using, the Type 19, the USS 9, basically any weapon that is currently meta in ranked, and this gun has been easily able to outgun even that of, the USS 9. It's kind of crazy to me. There was quite a bit of debate online before this gun released that this gun could actually, outperform the Fennec. So the Fennec has been, I would say, has been part of the competitive scene for quite a long time. But I think the VMP might actually be able to replace the Fennec now, given its better options. And when I say better options, I mean barrels, I mean magazines, stocks, basically everything about this weapon is just better than the Fennec. Even when it comes down to vertical recoil, which this is something that a lot of rapid fire weapons do have in this game, even that, it could still be easily mitigated with a bunch of different attachments, such as the integrated grip barrel, or, well, not the grip barrel, but like the integrated grip, as well as the silencer barrel. There's just a lot of different options that you can do. And even by default, the hip fire accuracy is actually insane. Even without any sort of attachments to help with that accuracy, yeah, I could say it competes extremely well with cordite levels of just hip fire accuracy, and even PPSH when that weapon is stacked with hip fire attachments. So there's not really a bad thing to say about it. So now let's discuss the challenges. So the challenges are actually pretty simple, I would say. Most people would probably find difficulty with the headshots, but I would say that's kind of the case for every single gun in the game. Headshots usually require a little bit more accuracy, but stuff like hip fires, long shots, it is not really going to be an issue with this gun. Long shots are typically easy with SMGs. Anything could be considered a long shot. You could just kill someone 10 feet away from you. It's a long shot. So it's pretty generous in this game, at least. But hip fires, again, it's a completely different story because hip fires are even easier than I thought it would be. I understood it was going to be good because obviously whenever there is a major update or any update that allows you to use the new weapon in the training room, I usually always test the hip fire accuracy first because that's one of the first challenges that I do for every gun. As I was grinding out the hip fires, I didn't really use any attachments. I mean, mainly because I was still doing the no attachment challenges, but even after, I wasn't really using any hip fire attachments to help because honestly, I really didn't need it. Of course, the choice is yours whether or not you do want to use hipfire lasers or something like that. I mean, really, the hipfire laser is the only thing that could really help with the hipfire, and even that's being pretty generous, especially for this gun. So yeah, I mean, you could use that and it could make it a lot easier, but even then, it won't be that hard anyways. Again, as it goes for long shots, basically almost any kill, especially in high rise, will just net you a long shot. So in about maybe 1 or 2 games, you should be done with that. I think it's only required like 45 for SMGs. As for the headshots, yeah, it wasn't really much of a challenge. Again, I would say the headshots were probably the hardest portion of the grind, but again, it was nothing too crazy. And I know there would be a lot of people that would actually advise against using the rapid fire barrel, but if anything, it kind of made it a lot easier. So now that we got all the camo challenges out of the way, or at least the important ones, the rest are just, attachment kills, no attachment kills, and just regular kills. So I'm not really gonna, go over that type of area because it's kind of It's like you don't really need a rocket scientist to figure out how to do those. But while I'm here, I do also want to discuss a little bit of the gunsmithing for the weapon. So I was always curious about how the VMP would turn out to be if it ever received a gunsmith treatment. And I would actually say that this is kind of expected. The way that, you know, given the history with the VMP, it's always been known to be overpowered in every Black Ops game that's ever been released. Or at least, you know, where the gun is featured. And yeah, it's no different here. We have a lot of different magazines for this gun. We have, you know, just a simple extended mag that maybe increases your bullets by 8. There's another one called the fast extended mag, which is something that a lot of people are recommending. But for me personally, I've been using the 66 round drum. I personally think that's like a better option, mainly because, especially if you're like in shipment and you're diamond grinding, you're gonna need all the ammo that you can get. The thing also is that it doesn't really take too much of your speed, I would say, or at least the speed reduction isn't that unbearable, at least for me. But of course, that's kind of like a player preference thing. Like I said, also, there's a lot of grips and a lot of barrels that could help or go against the recoil control. I would say the Phoenix barrel is probably a good pick if you do want to use that integrated grip and you just want to maximize your range and bullet speed as much as you can. But of course, the downside is that you don't really have anything to keep you off the map unless you want to include a suppressor on your build. But of course, the question of whether or not you want rapid fire is also a thing for this type of gunsmith weapon. For me personally, I don't really care whether or not my gun is suppressed. I mean, so long as it's very effective, I don't really think it's going to be too much of an issue. Like, at least for right now, I'm just rocking the suppressor barrel, but probably later on down the line, I'll rock, you know, the Phoenix with the integrated grip set. So yeah, I'm still kind of deciding what I actually want to use as a full-time build. That's why this is like my first impressions video. Once I grind out diamond and once I have a little bit more time to use this weapon in normal situations, I will make I guess a finalized opinion video. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content, and I'll see you guys next time.